potential coming in from Lolita in that Jax pick. So a very well-rounded pick, very balanced team composition. And the reason why I say I like the team composition is primarily because it's not one-dimensional. You have a lot of flexibility to kind of play around with should one of your plans not work. So they have a plan A. If it doesn't work, they can go for plan B, and all the way until plan Z.
Yeah, let's see how many plans they can actually pull off, because we may see a level 1 team fight coming in for both sides, because the deep wards have been placed by Ucan Hong Kong Attitude, and they're just going to take the long route out of this one. They will be spotted by this ward as they actually exit the jungle, and it seems that, Neolution Esports Full Lewis is just going to, sit in this tri-brush here at the bottom lane and not go for any invades. Or are they going to go for an invade on the blue buff? They might just go for the invade. I was wondering why they decided to stay in that tri-brush for so long, because they had that vision for the longest of time, and they may just go for the 5-man delay invade. They will see the ward that's put down, because Ucan Hong Kong Attitude does spot out this ward that's there, but it seems that we may have a 5v5 team fight. SOFM will come in, places the ward down. Will the cocoon come out? Actually, Shin goes in straight away. Mythic Q gets up. The 3-man knockout has the ball to protect him from additional damage. And God goes in, gets exhausted immediately in that fight. Fight goes down extremely low, but SOFM is the first one to go down. And God will continue the chase. We'll have that rocket jump once more as he picks up Lolita in that fight. And the last one to go down will be Shin. If the slow doesn't actually hit on Angot has no mana to follow up, and Shin will just walk out of that fight. So the level 1 fight going in favor of Ucan Hong Kong Attitude, picking up 2 kills as well as the first blood.
That's right, a very, very awkward moment for this team there. Going to a late play. So what exactly went down and what exactly happened? So Shin going in with the hammering strike, and Mythic Q locking 3 members of Full Lewis there with the slingshot, and because of that, Lolita wasn't able to keep everyone placed with the counter strike. So a very easy first blood coming in for Perhaps, and hit in that level 1 skirmish.
Yeah, and it seems that the Ucan Hong Kong Attitude is going to opt for the lane swap, with Tristana getting an additional longsword into the lane, so that's going to help. So both the bottom lane duo actually getting 1 kill from themselves, and allows Annie to start out with an additional Ruby Crystal, so that's going to help in the lane a lot.
So I do agree with this decision coming in from Hong Kong Attitude, because between Zac and Jax, I would say, the auto attacks and the refresh coming in from Jax will so kind of make sure that Mythic Q doesn't suffer too much in this 2v1 matchup. But at the same time, Violet doing the right thing, making full use of that Caitlyn range just to poke down Mythic Q.
Yeah, and we'll just see which team actually gets down the first turret of the game. I expect it is going to be some pressure being put on onto top lane. Shin taken down extremely low from Pasa, and the Flag Spear combo coming in, taking Lolita down to just slightly above half health. And Violet and Mew was going to put as much aggression as possible onto the lane, and it seems that Engod as well as Perhaps will be very happy freezing at lane. Doesn't want Lolita to get any of that experience at all.
But every time I look at the support player for HKA, his name is Perhaps, right? Just reminds me of the song, Perhaps. Are
you going to sing on stream?
No, I'm not going to sing on stream, but just
come on, but Pasa taken down extremely low. SOFM actually does come in. He flashes away, will die to the last hit of that Clockwork wind-up passive coming in from Oriana. Shin taken down very low, but managed to pick up the double buff in exchange. So Pasa does go down in place of SOFM, and Shin will just take the long route because he saw Fire coming in. Doesn't want to give that double buff away.
Right, so buff transfer success.
Buff transfer indeed a success, and Shin going to be very happy with that double buff coming into lane. And Violet and Mew just battering down the turret, and a complete opposite on this side. And got just happy freezing the lane in the top lane, and Lolita still at level 2, whereas Mythic Q is already at level 4.
That's right. I guess it's pretty much because Mythic Q has access to those minions pushing up towards the lane. So very different strategies coming in from both teams. Whereas Full Lewis, they want to go for a early push. But for HKA, what they want to do is just to deny Lolita of as much farm as they can.
Yeah, so now Lolita will be now just hitting level 3. He unable to get the farm perhaps will continue to knock this on this turret as much as possible, and Engard will just happily see as Pasa again the one that Neolution Esports Full Lewis decide to go for a great gank coming in from SOFM, going in with the spider form as well as the cocoon, allowing Shin to pick up the kill on that one.
That's right, very good focus as well. As we do see some engage coming down into the bottom lane, Fi and Mr. Q just repelling the dual lane. As we do see a pickup on the top lane, Engard securing the kill onto Lolita there. So will they choose to push on the aggression?
It seems that Engard will just use the rocket jump to get away, and a great trap, I must say. Fi actually stepped on the cupcake, preventing any additional damage coming out from Mew, and Mew, the support Sona, will easily be able to use the heal, so she just heal herself up. The Hymn of Valor. The Aria of Perseverance, sorry. The Hymn of Valor is the Q. My bad.
Right, so we do see, and once again, all this aggression, non-stop aggression coming in from Fulu is so fully abusing the fact that Shin and SOFM has, a lot of direct ways to get in range with Pasa. So they do take out this early mid lane turret. I wonder how this would pan out for Hong Kong Attitude in that aspect.
Yeah, it seems that Engard has done significant damage on the turret. We saw the dual lane of Hong Kong Attitude actually freeze the lane quite significantly earlier, but still managed to put on, they're about an equal amount of damage on the top lane turret as compared to the bottom lane turret.
Right, I like what Full Lewis is doing in this game because, like I was telling Fish yesterday night, that the distinctive style coming in from HKA is that they like to go for objectives. They are a very objective-driven team. So if you are able to put up that aggression much earlier than them, then you'll be able to, have a very good footing when you go up against them in the objectives game, especially in the vision game as well, because between HKA and Full Lewis, HKA is the team that prioritizes vision control a lot better.
Yeah, and let's see who actually gets a snipe off. The smite will go to SOFM, but he does go down in the process. They do manage to pick up Barrett, and Mew is in a world of trouble. I think Mew is definitely going to go down. Who will be the one to pick up the kill? I think they're going to give the kill to Pasa. Pasa does pick up the kill onto Mew. So 2 kills for the Dragon. I do not know whether Neolution Full Lewis wanted anyone to die in that fight, because they rotated the Dragon very quickly immediately after the bot turret went down, but wasn't able to pick up the Dragon in time because Hong Kong Attitude responded very nicely to that one.
That's right, but Full is still ahead of the goal count at this point of time, having a slight 400 goal lead. And if Ucan HKA manages to pressure this top lane and take out the first turret quickly, then that will just balance out the checkbook.
Yeah, it's really interesting because Engard has multiple times decided to just back off, even though he had the opportunity to push that turret. It seems that Ucan Hong Kong Attitude happy with losing their turrets this early into the game. Despite losing 2 turrets and the Dragon, they are only 100 or about 150 gold behind. Or actually now their gold is, about 100 gold behind.
Yeah, which is about 100 gold behind. So very equal in that sense, and keeping their farm up. I think the key difference is going to be coming in from Mr. Q in the top lane, because he is just 20 CS up against his lane opponent, and that is pretty much the result of HKA just freezing the lane like we saw earlier.
Yeah, and now we actually have Lolita as well as Mythic Q finally meeting each other in lane. Mythic Q does have that level advantage as well as the creep advantage, so Lolita hoping to just stay there and farm as much as possible.
That's right, and there we go with the counter strike leaping onto Mythic Q. There will be passive bait popped for Zack there, but Lolita will be happy to, put that amount of damage onto him and back off from there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's very interesting first item coming in for Shin. Shin not picking up the tier of the goddess like most Jaces would in the early stages of the game, but instead opting for that BF sword. The stun does come in for Violet. Violet takes up some damage, but not really that significant at this moment. Actually, taken down extremely low. Engard as well, taken down very low. Mew does not have his ultimate up, does get hit by the Cataclysm. The ace in the hole is blocked by Perhaps, and Violet is now on the chase, wanting to take Engard very low. Both Engard and Perhaps extremely low. Someone does step on the trap, I think it was Perhaps, and they actually go for the turnaround. Fi goes in for the knockout, but Violet decides to pop the barrier. SOFM is now the one that actually comes in the Pasa there to actually help. I think SOFM has to flash away. Pulls out that cocoon, and Pasa taking a lot of damage. Shin wave comes about in is now around in the back lines. SOFM has taken a little bit of damage as well. I think both teams do not want to really fight this because, you know, they have all been taken down extremely low. So now here in the bottom lane, Mythic Q, you know, forcing to use the Let's Bounce. Lolita pops his ultimate now, continuing on to the chase. The passive will be popped. The flash, what a juke coming out for Mythic Q. Will the Leap Strike be coming in 3, 2, 1? The Leap Strike comes in, the passive is popped, the ward is being used as well. But in the jungle here, we actually have Fi being caught out of position. Violet, you know, putting in the pot shots and the turret going down. Lolita still survives. Mythic Q still alive and perhaps will pick up the kill onto Jax there. And wow, there were crazy fights going all around. Shin going in for the kill. Will him to pick up the kill. The double buffs now go to Engard. Mew onto the chase. Doesn't have that crescendo to actually lock Engard down, and Engard will get away with that kill and the double buff.
I think I just calculated the amount of time that you will spend just talking by yourself. That's a good 2 minutes, and it just goes to show how crazy the action has been all across the board. First, we saw they pick up on, you know, onto Mew up in the top lane, and then Violet picking up their counter kill, and then subsequently we did see some action down in the bottom lane. A very good flash juke coming in from Mr. Q as well, just to keep himself alive. And unfortunately for Lolita, he was unable to pick up the kill before, you know, Mr. Q picked himself up into a full piece again.
Yeah, and we actually saw SOM use the Rappel to actually dodge out the shockwave coming in from Pasa in the mid lane and barely surviving by the skin of his teeth right there.
Whoa.
Whoops. My bad.
A very explosive moment for Wolf there. And as we do see, Mr. Q now will be happy to take out the jungle camp by himself. He needs to kind of maintain his, you know, his goal count in this game, because he needs to be that, desperately needs to be that tanky frontliner for HKA at this point of time. And we saw the potential of Lolita in this game. Like we saw, he just constantly pounding onto Mythic Q. So if he manages to get a few crucial items in, then definitely he will be the one to watch out for. But at this point of time, not the most ideal score. 0-3 and 0 and sitting at 51 creep score.
Yeah, he is freezing the lane though, so he should be able to catch up in level as well as creep score. And the Tail of the Goddess finally being picked up by Shin there, and we actually see Fi camping in the side. He may go in for that dive. He does go in the Cataclysm. Perhaps will go with the stun, and an easy pickup by Engard, scoring his 5th kill of the game. He's 5-0 and 1. That's going to be a very scary Tristana picking up Blade of Ruin King so early into the game.
Right, it was a slam dunk moment as well, with both Jarvan and Tristana jumping into the fray. And I kind of like this slam dunk combination that they have, you know, just jumping right in and picking up the quick kill onto Shin and taking out the mid lane turret as well. So with that, for HKA, they do manage to kind of pull the goal gap slightly further apart as they look to, you know, do so again as they take out the second tier 2 turret.
Yeah, it was very interesting. There was no response at all by Neolution Esports for Lewis, and we actually saw SOFM earlier try to steal that blue buff coming in, but it seems that the next, you know, point of objective control for Ucan Hong Kong Attitude is going to be this dragon area, and let's just see if it breaks out into any sort of fight. Shin does have the BF sword, will come in, the, you know, ace in a hole will come in and hit perhaps a little bit, and they are trying to force, you know, Ucan Hong Kong Attitude out of this dragon, and they really want this global objective to get some gold back in their favor.
That's right, but it doesn't look like HKA will not contest for this one. They will, you know, just kindly give it over to Fu Lewis, but Fu Lewis does look like they want to make something happen. Grouping up as 5, chasing into the jungle of HKA there. Will they choose to go in onto Mythic Q there?
Yeah, the
like the
cocoon will hit, and the combination will go down. The Let's Bounce does knock out about 3 members of the team. Violet taking 2 shots to the turret. Whoa, we have Fi coming in the knockout combo, but the cocoon does hit, not allowing Fi to follow up. But the rest of Ucan Hong Kong Attitude is there to respond to this push coming in by Neolution Esports Fu Lewis.
So, and it was a very, very dangerous moment for Fu Lewis as well. At that point of time, perhaps had his, you know, stun charged up and ready to go, and he had that flash and Tibbet's combination ready and available as well. And it was at a position where Fu Lewis were all grouped up as 5. So if he managed to just go in 1 second earlier, land the stun onto the entire lines of Fu Lewis, then it would be a very, you know, fearful moment for them.
Yeah, but it was, they definitely wanted to disengage from that fight was because Mew already blew up the crescendo onto only 1 member of Ucan Hong Kong Attitude, and not having that crescendo to actually stop this four-man team of actually barreling down onto you is going to be a very scary thing. So without that crescendo, they definitely do not want to fight any full-on team fights.
That's right, precisely. And at this point in time, I think that Full Lewis haven't been making full use of their composition just as of yet, because Shin has that potential coming in, but we haven't been seeing that coming a lot out of them. But we do see HKA now slowly sieging onto this bottom lane turret, so a very objective-driven team like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and in the top lane, Angod being taken down extremely low, does use the buster shot as well as the rocket jump to run away, but I think Shin will be able to catch up onto him. Flash for flash, the shutdown goes to Shin. Shin is going to be extremely happy about that. And the bottom lane siege is not ending just yet, with Pasa as well as perhaps on the sidelines with Fi kind of flanking on the side, but SOFM is there. The ball delivery system may just go in. Violet, whoa, I think he's a little bit slightly too far ahead. Mythic Q in the back lines trying to cause some more disruption. He does have his Let's Bounce he will have his Let's Bounce ultimate very shortly, but it seems that Ucan Hong Kong Attitude is going to push down this bot turret as much as they can.
That's right, and once again showing their worth.
So,
And there
oh
we
my
go.
goodness, the slingshot as well as the shockwave combo comes in, but the shockwave I think misses and completely airballs. But Ucan Hong Kong Attitude will pick up this bot lane turret.
That's right, so a very quick siege and very good intimidation factor coming in with the ball delivery system. So even though they didn't manage to pick up the kills there, they are happy and contented with their objective pickup. But in the meantime, up in the top lane, Lolita was the one that managed to pick up the top lane turret. So will we see Hong Kong Attitude actually falling through their own strategy? Because this was what exactly happened yesterday when we had the Jax player just farming by himself up in the top lane and eventually just carrying the entire team on his shoulders. So, I mean, HKA, they are familiar with this strategy.
Yeah, they definitely are, because now Jax is on the other team. So let's just see how HKA actually deals with the Jax pickup by Full Lewis. It was their first pick after all, and we actually saw that Lolita, whoa, we actually had a Cocoon coming in onto 5-4, the flash out of him. He's taken down to 1/3 of his health easily by Shin. So that amount of burst damage coming out from Jace itself is going to be very scary indeed. But I was saying just now, I don't know if you guys caught it, we actually had Angod try to defend his own rip buff using the buster shot onto Lolita, but the leap strike actually brought Lolita back in and just scored the rip buff there, so there was something funny that happened in the jungle. So, as we were talking about it earlier, Lolita has been farming quite freely in his own lanes, taking up some global objectives for Full Lewis. So, will Full Lewis kind of fall to their own devices? We'll see. We will see, because the moment Jace actually hits that turning point of getting the Mirror Mana itself, his pokes are going to be ever so dangerous, because Jace just deals a chunk of damage with the acceleration shock blast coming out.
That's right, but for Full Lewis, they just have to make sure that the other 4 members of the team are able to hold their own front as they kind of buy time for Lolita to farm up. But this time around, we do see Hong Kong Attitude responding to that. They don't want this Jax player to kind of farm up as he pleases.
Yeah, and look at the amount of vision that they have down in this lane, but Lolita does manage to get away. The ace in the hole is fired. I think it's blocked by Pasa itself, but they will take this turret. The Cocoon does come out. The Flag Spear combo allows Pai to get out. He's taken down to half health from just one stealth combo from Shin. Lolita will go in, try to use the counter strike. Perhaps it's taken down extremely low. The stick shot and the Let's Bounce will start to knock out Lolita. Will Lolita manage to pick up? Perhaps no. Perhaps picks up the kill on Lolita instead with the help of Mythic Q. But in all this while, we have the entire team of Neolution Esports Full Lewis just pushing down the top lane with a 4v3 man advantage.
But I have to give some credit to perhaps their very clever maneuvering around the brush, and using Tibbers as well to kind of body block out that Jax player, the Lolita, in the process as well. So because of that, they were able to shut him down in the process in the top lane. But this is the dangerous position that we were talking about. If you're able to let Lolita just draw attention away from HKA effectively, you'll be starting the team fight in a 4v5 position or even a 4v4 position. But looking at the lineup for Full Lewis, if Mew gets a good crescendo in, then it's going to be a troublesome process for HKA.
Yeah, simply put, I think this game is for anyone to take away.
That's
at this
right,
point
neck
of
and
time.
neck.
So close so far. And the goal difference, despite the amount of kill lead that Ucan Hong Kong Attitude has actually gotten, is very, very close. It's less than about 800 gold apart.
But it's mainly due to the fact that Full Lewis has been pretty much contesting for this Dragons and always getting it without much troubles as well.
Yeah, so the second Dragon of the game being picked up by Full Lewis, and they actually, for the first time in the game, they extend their gold lead in their favor of about 300 to 400 gold.
That's right. So, it's a small difference, but when it gets further ahead, then, it's a snowball effect, we call it.
Yeah, and the blue buff actually picked up by Phi, actually gets the smite away from Shin, so Shin doesn't get a refresh of his blue buff and manages to steal that blue buff away.
That's right, and for this point of time, even though it's not too bad for Shin to not have his blue buff, but I would say he would love to have it because it would just add on to his potential even better than it is now.
Yeah, and the interrupt by the flag coming in from Phi, preventing Shin from actually using the blue pill back to base. So Shin wants to get that gold spent here. It's about 1,800 gold, probably going to pick up his Mana Mune next, but it seems that Ucan Hong Kong Attitude wants to actually push this. A two-man shockwave coming in for both Lolita as well as SOFM. The Dibber stun only hitting onto Lolita. Lolita will use the counter strike as well as Lolita trying to get away. Mythic steps on the track and Shin now joins the fight. The Buster Shot pushes him away, taking him down to about half health.
So I like what the Team Hong Kong Attitude is doing here. They are forcing the fight out of Full Lewis here as they proceed up in the top lane. And this is what they kind of need to do as well because they realize that the threat that's going to be coming in from Lolita if they just leave him alone. So, alone for too long. So, in that sense, if he doesn't want to fight, then they will bring the fight to him.
Yeah, most definitely. And in addition to that, it was a great response coming in from Full Lewis as well, defending that top tier, the top lane second tier turret itself.
Right, so this time around, the very interesting item build going to be coming in from Pasa. And early Zhonya's hourglass being completed as we do see.
Whoa, such an early Baron, 22 minutes into the game. This is going to be very dangerous. Mythic Q is not there. Phi is there, however. Will we see Full Lewis pick up an early Dragon? Who gets the smite? We do have Full Lewis getting the smite off of Baron, and Phi just goes down trying to go for the 50-50 smite. So very risky play coming in from Full Lewis, but they do get a Baron buff and they will take objectives from this.
That's right, and we often speak about this Baron contest when the opposing team knows about it. It's almost a 50-50 chance, but Full Lewis took the bat and they come out on top.
Yeah, Oriana has a shockwave up right now. We may see that shockwave come in very shortly, in combination with the the shockwave does come in. SOFM and Violet take it. The barriers pop doesn't actually absorb any sort of damage at all from that one. But Neolution Esports Full Lewis are just going to recover from that with the Baron buff as well as the lifesteal on both their AD carries. They're just going to continue to kind of siege down the turret. No more shockwave, but the lead bounce is still up. Mythic Q goes in for the slingshot. Gets punished immediately by taking off. Shin have taken down the tier 2 middle turret and they will rotate very shortly to another objective.
Right, so the game has taken a full turn in progress here as we do see Full Lewis having a very good lead at this point of time, a 3k gold advantage and taking out one more turret in the process. So they are having a 1 turret advantage over HKA at this point of time.
Yeah, not only that, they have a 3,000 gold advantage as well, and they decide to siege up the middle inhibitor turret. It's going to be very dangerous. None of the cooldowns are back up for the ultimates, especially on Pasa, but everyone else still has their ultimate up, so this is going to be very dangerous. Mew does have the crescendo just for kind of safekeeping for any disengage or counter initiation coming in, and Neolution Esports Full Lewis is just going to happy to tank that turret without any sort of creep wave to come in, and that turret may go down very shortly.
Right, so this is the poke and siege potential that we were talking about. Finally, slowly and steadily poking away at the top lane turret. So what HKA needs to do now is to force the hard engage. They can't wait and sit around and be sitting ducks in this area.
Yeah, that's right. The gold difference is still extremely close, but look at the turret health. The turret is only at about 800 HP at this moment. Mythic Q charges up the slingshot. Will the shockwave come in? The shockwave is off cooldown. Mythic Q, the shockwave does go in. Mew and the counter crescendo coming in. Phi taking down very low shit. Still alive. Mythic Q is also alive. The first one to go down will be Mew, but perhaps will go down in response and got taken down extremely low. Force above the flash. Fi comes back in. Violet picks up the kill onto Fi, and Mythic Q goes down to Lolita. Violet actually flashing in, picking up the kill onto Engod, and Pasa eating an ace in the hole, and allowing Shin to pick up their kill. A great fight coming in for Neolution Esports. Full Lewis losing only one member and getting the ace onto the entire team of Hong Kong.
That's the ace. Are we gonna see Full Lewis actually close out this game over HKA today? As we do see 4 members still alive, and perhaps it's the last one to spot, and he does get taken down in the process.
And
it does look like Full Lewis will take out this game against Hong Kong Attitude here tonight.
What a day. What a game.
Wow, I am just dumbfounded. That was pretty much a very impressive game coming into this one.
We will see a replay of that last fight according to what my producer says, so let's take a look at that replay very shortly. And there we have it, that last fight that comes in. We actually see Mythic Q with the ball delivery system coming. He will pull off that slingshot, but Oriana will just reposition the ball and get the 2-man shockwave onto both Shin and Mew, if I'm not wrong. So there we have it, that come in. Mew will go in for the counter crescendo, hitting 2 members, and we have Fi in the back line trying to disrupt as much as possible. But look at Violet. Violet's out there, not taking any sort of damage at all. The knockup does not hit Violet either, and Mythic Q taken down very low. He will have his passive pop right outside the base and got taken out extremely low. Force to flash pop. The barrel fire goes in and just dies. Engod will go down. Violet will decide to flash over the wall to try to pick up. And last part, amazing play coming.